Hello friends. So the next topic is transformation and transfection. We are going to see this topic in details now. Transformation and transfection is generally observed in the prokaryotic cells, that is bacterial cells, as well as it can be seen in eukaryotic cells that can be performed artificially. Transformation is the genetic alteration of the cells resulting from the introduction, uptake and expression of foreign genetic material, that is DNA, in a molecular biology or biotechnology. This can be done to bacteria, fungi, even plant cells and animal cells. Transformation has a very recent history. Around in year 1928, Frederick Griffith found that the pathogenic pneumococcus bacteria can be transformed into a virulent variety by mixing them with heat-killed pathogenic bacteria. That is, its virulence can be increased by mixing the bacteria with the heat-killed bacteria that was virulent. Transformation, the principle was demonstrated actually in 1944 by scientist Oswald Avery, Colin MacLeod and Maclean McCarty, who showed that gene transfer can be performed in the bacteria like Streptococcus pneumoniae, where a pure DNA can be transformed. Avery, MacLeod and McCarty called this uptake and incorporation of DNA by bacteria as transformation. Mechanisms of transformation in bacteria refers to a genetic change brought about by picking up naked strands of DNA and expressing it in that bacterial cell. And cellular competence to carry out this transformation refers to the state of being able to take up the foreign DNA or alien DNA by the bacterial cell or cell that is desired to be transformed. Two different forms of competence generally are there, and they should be distinguished from each other, because what is observed naturally is called as natural transformation, and that can be performed artificially in or engineered artificially is called as artificial transformation. Transformation mechanisms in bacteria are therefore natural and artificial. Two types of transformation mechanisms are observed. Some bacteria, say around 1% of the total bacterial population of all species, are naturally capable of taking up some foreign material, that is some foreign DNA, and such species can carry sets of genes specifying machinery for bringing DNA across their cell membrane or cell membranes. The evolutionary function of these genes that are taken up by bacteria is still not clearly known, although most of the researchers assume that cells take up DNA to acquire new versions of genes, a simpler explanation that fits most of the observations that cells take up DNA mainly for fulfilling the source of nucleotides that is required during their multiplication, which can be used directly or broken down and used for other purposes. In artificial competence that can be brought out in the bacteria, that is actually not encoded in their genes normally, and artificially it is to be performed in the bacterial cells. It is induced by laboratory procedures in which cells are passively made permeable for the alien DNA using conditions that do not normally occur in the nature. These procedures are comparatively easy and simple and are widely used to genetically engineer the bacteria. Artificially competent cells of standard bacterial strains may also be purchased in the form of frozen cell cultures, which are ready to use, and common strain of bacteria that is used in genetical engineering or biotechnology nowadays is E. coli strain DH5 alpha. In prokaryotic transformation, first, the DNA is important. DNA is most easily taken up if it is in the form of plasmid in comparison to the linear DNA. plasmid DNAs are easily taken up by the bacteria, though they are foreign. Although certain cells can take linear DNA, but that is very rare. If the plasmids are nicked or have been religated, it can lower the transformation efficiency of that organism or of that plasmid. Supercoiled DNA gives the highest transformation efficiency. Generally, the plasmid will have an antibiotic resistance marker. We have already discussed about this in earlier topic, like resistant genes for tetracycline, that is TET gene, or ampicillin, that is AMP gene, kanamycin resistance. If it is there, that thing is favorable, and it can be used as a marker in transformation. Because if the genes are there, they will help in stopping the multiplication and growth of bacteria by adding the antibiotic in their growth medium, so that the cells which are successfully transformed can easily be identified and non-transformants can be removed from the culture. Then the second important thing in transformation is having the competent cells that are able to take up the alien DNA or foreign DNA. Although some bacteria are naturally competent, most of them have to be made competent in the laboratory. This is known as inducing the artificial competence. We can get the cells which are already competent from the market, or we can make the cells competent in the laboratory. Two common ways to achieve the competence in the prokaryotic cells are electroporation, that generally works in eukaryotics, and another very important procedure is using calcium chloride. Artificial competence can be achieved with the help of exposing the bacteria to the temperatures, variable temperatures. In this, first the cells are chilled in presence of divalent cations such as calcium from the calcium chloride that prepares the cell walls to become permeable for plasmid DNA. And then these cells are incubated with the DNA solution that is desired to be internalized in that bacteria. But while incubating, briefly heat shock is given to the cells by exposing them at 42 degrees Celsius for 30 to 120 seconds. This causes DNA to enter into the cell. This method works well for circular plasmid DNAs, but not for linear molecules, such as fragments of chromosomes or any other linear DNA molecule. An excellent preparation of competent cells can give around 10 raised to 8 colonies per microgram of plasmid. A poor preparation will give around 10 raised to 4 per microgram or less. Good non-commercial preparations should have around 10 raised to 5 to 10 raised to 6 transformants per microgram of plasmid that is added. In calcium chloride method, permeability of cells can be altered because calcium interacts with the negatively charged phospholipid heads of the cell membrane of the bacteria, creating an electrostatically neutral situation. This lowering the temperature of the medium stabilizes this membrane, making the negatively charged phosphate heads easier to shield with calcium. Then a heat shock creates a temperature imbalance and thus a current which helps to get DNA into the cells. Plasmid DNA molecule contains sequences allowing it to be replicated in the cell independently where it is not dependent on cellular chromosome. Plasmids used in experiments will usually also contain antibiotic resistant genes that we have discussed earlier, which is placed in a bacterial strain that has no antibiotic resistance. Therefore, only transformed bacteria will grow on the media containing that particular antibiotic. Non-transformants will not grow. Inducing artificial competence can be performed by different mechanisms. Second mechanism, that is electroporation, in addition to calcium chloride and temperature variation. This electroporation is another way to make holes in the cells by briefly shocking them with an electric field of around 100 to 200 volts per cm. Now plasmid DNA can enter the cell through these holes. Natural membrane again gets repaired because of the natural mechanism of repair, and these holes are again corrected or they are again repaired. In electroporation, the general idea behind it is that by applying a short electrical pulse to the cells, we can alter the membrane conductivity and permeability. It is more effective than the calcium chloride method, which requires chemical competence. DNA is negatively charged molecule due to the phosphate groups those are present in the strands in its backbone. Because of electroporation, hydrophilic pores are formed in the membrane, and so the DNA normally in the cells they do not get internalized because the environment inside the cells is hydrophobic. But due to electroporation, whatever the pores are formed in the membrane, those are hydrophilic pores, and they enable these DNA molecules to pass through them.